Hello everyone. Okay, so remember all these lovely Matchbox sticker and tag packs, we've been getting, if you've been getting a Your Creative Studio box, or maybe you just have something like this in your supply. Well, I'm always saying, oh, I could turn that into a mini journal. Well, I finally have done it to the level of video production. So I'm here to show you how to do that today, and I've got a few ideas and examples to show you. This one is definitely going to be in the mix, but here is one that's fully completed, and let's get close and you can see the outside of the Matchbox I've decorated. I've just wrapped some paper around it to give it some more stability, and then I have a couple little butterfly die cuts and a sticker and some scraps and things and a word, of course. And inside our little box, here you can see that, is mostly the way it came, except I've added some cardstock, coordinating cardstock to that, and the bottom's plain, and then the little journal sits in there. I might add some tissue or something for gifting it and presentation, but this is the little mini journal that I made, and it looks like I might need to add a little glue to that sticker. Again, it's the same sticker here. Yeah, is it the same size? I think it's exactly the same sticker. For some reason it looks smaller next to it. But so that's how I've coordinated these two. And then a similar word and just a couple scraps of the papers. And then this card stock here is the same as that. So I've got, I think, what is this? 1/8 of an inch spine here, and I use a scoring board to get that, to fold these. And then inside I just have some scrap ruled notebook paper, and I have glued the edges on here. And this is, yes, stapled with a tiny attacher. So it's pretty easy, but I will show you piece by piece. We'll make one together here. And this is a great idea for all kinds of things. A gift idea, for a great gift idea, you take this little journal, and for the recipient, maybe you fill each page with a word about them or some kind of appreciation. There's all kinds of things. You could also just give it as it is. It can be a gratitude journal. It could be a thoughts journal, ideas, lists, etc., etc. The options are endless. So let's go in and start making one. So for the very, very beginning of making one, I'm going to use this box. I have lots of them. It needs a little TLC here on the corner, but I just love the patterns that are already on there, so I might end up doing something to cover the branding. I don't love that part, so I might cover that up. I don't mind this brown at all. So the first thing you're going to want to do, I have my measurements already, but you have your box. Some of them are very similar in size, but some of them are going to be different size. So you want to measure, and you want your journal to fit in there snugly. So this is approximately 2 inches wide, but if I made it 2 inches, it might be a little hard getting it in and out. So I think for the outside cover, I'm going to go with 1 7/8, which is just before the 2 inches. And that's going to be the width, the page measurement. And let's see, how big is the height here, because I kind of want to put it this orientation, is 2 3/4, so I'm going to go 1 less than that and be 2 5/8. And for this one, it's deeper than the other one, so it's a good inch deep. I don't know that I want to make one that thick, but I'm going to give it a 1/2 inch spine instead of the 1/8 inch. So I got to do a little math here. So the 1 7/8 is the number that we're going to want to double, because we need a front and a back, and add a 1/2 inch to. And 1 7/8 times 2, I think, is 3 3/4, plus the 1/2 inch would make it 4 1/4 that I need landscape. That's the width. I'm going to move this aside. So, oh, and I'm using, I forgot about this. This is some packaging from some of the postage stamps, but look how pretty that side is. So maybe I want to cover this side, or I don't know, maybe I'll leave it. I'm going to leave it for now. I need, what did I say, 4 1/4. So I'm just going to make a mark here This is how long I need it to be. And it doesn't really matter too much where I cut it there. And then the height, I want to keep most of this, I think. So measure the height this way, which was 2 5/8. And then I can trim that down and come right back. Okay, so trimmed off the extra pieces. Had to go in search of my scoring board, which I put somewhere safe. And I couldn't find it. So then I'm going to mark the center point also, because there's a lot going on this side. So I want to kind of know where my center point is. Use a lighter pencil here. This is a centering ruler, which is handy for that purpose. So I think, yep, that's the center there. This will give me a good, because this, I don't know, my scoring board is kind of imprecise in some of the edges. I don't know, I don't always get great results, but if I line up the center right here on my little line that I've darkened, then to get a 1/2 inch, I can go 1/4 inch to each side, which I think is, actually, I want to go on a solid. I have another solid line right here on the 5. So 1/4 inch to each side would make a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to score that and really hope that I did this correct. Does that look even? Huh. We're about to find out, aren't we? Give it a little wiggle, give the paper time to kind of adjust to the manipulation. This is nice and thick, this packaging, so it'll make a nice sturdy cover for my little journal, which is so freaking adorable. Alright, let's move this aside. And this, at this point, you can decide which side you want to be the front. That's pretty, but so is this. Or you can wait and decide later if you can't decide, like me. You want to check for size. Also, this is a bit snug here. Do I want to keep it or trim off a little at this point? I feel like I'm just going to snip off less, you know, just a sliver off of each side here. Because I want it to come in and out easily. This is just to show you how much I took off, just a tiny bit, and let's see if that makes a difference. I feel like it helps. I might just take a little off the top too. So if you like measurements, it's approximately 1/16 of an inch. I can probably finagle that in and out anyway, and once I get paper in there, you know, it's not a big deal. But I like having just a little more room, so that's a little bit of troubleshooting on the go. Okay, so for the inside papers, my width is approximately 1 3/4. I think I'll do just like a 1/16 of an inch shorter by just under 2 1/2. So I've written the doubling the 1 3/4, 3 1/2 by 2 1/2, but the number is about 1/16 of an inch less than that because I trimmed a little off of the cover. So we're gonna need something to put inside. Now I just trimmed down some papers for a journal, and I have all these scraps, so I think I'm going to try to use some of these. I don't know if it's quite enough. This one is this one's 3 1/2 by 2 1/2 here, and it fits pretty well. It just needs to be a little shorter, I think. We got plenty of room in the spine section because I got that 1/2 inch spine. So I need to trim these down, and then I might use some of this paper too because it looks so pretty with it. It's very vivid on that side. Throw them in. This one's going to be a real mix of junk journal type papers. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, I've actually decided to cover this inside portion with just a piece of white printer paper. So I just used some wet glue. It still shows a little through, but I just thought the text coming through was a little distracting to me for this one. And that's totally personal preference, but you know, so this is how you can cover it up with just a piece of scrap white printer paper, or white whatever, or anything, or some pretty paper, or coffee dyed paper, whatever. And I think I want this to be the top, but that will not matter too much. So now that I've cut down my papers, I've got them here, 3.5 by 2, just under 2.5. And I need to fold them all in half like this. We'll just do that. Since these are kind of junk journal style, they do not at all need to be perfect. Check for size. Looks perfectly correct there. And then you want to lay them out together. I think since this one is polka dot and brown, maybe I want to put it in between one of these other colored ones. And if you don't like any edges sticking out, now would be the time to trim them, because these ones stick out further. I don't even mind, as long as it's not sticking out past my cover. So for this one, if you want to hold them together, you can use a paper clip or anything. I didn't do that this time just because it's not needing to be super precise. Here's my little tiny attacher. If you didn't have a tiny attacher, which is just smaller staples, you can use a staple, you can punch holes and stitch it, but I am just showing you how I did this one, and I just used 2 staples right there in the center of the spine. They show through on this side, but that doesn't bother me either, and if you wanted it to be the other way, you'd have to do it like that, and oh, I didn't even get directly on the center there. That's okay. So for this one, because I did a 1/2 inch spine, I have 2 packets of papers, and these I did 10 sheets, so there's 20 pages, or like 40 front back on each of these, so there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right here, and you have, you know, both sides, front back is 20, plus another 20 here. There's gonna be 80 pages in this little mini. Which is pretty great. Now, to finish this one off, we would like to put our pages in. And for this particular one, I'm just going to glue them in. So I'm going to start with the back. I think I've got some glue handy, and I'm just going to glue one side. I want to make sure I get all the way to the edges. I hate covering up this beautiful paper, but I have it in here a few more times, so that's okay. Now for this one, I'm looking at these edges to line them up evenly. That's what I'm going for here, because if anything's uneven, I want it in the middle. And I put a lot of glue on the edge because I want it to go all the way to the edge, but then of course, you might have some seepage, so it's helpful to have something to catch that. And I'm gonna just make sure I get a really good adhesion here on this part. And I will show you. Since I'm working tiny here, it's a little bit difficult. So we've just glued the last page. And then we're gonna leave that there for a minute. I wanna make sure, if you have a directionality to your papers, this is something you want to pay attention to at this point. These, I mean, you could kind of say that's that direction, but I guess I'll flip it over because it does look like. And so then at this point, what we're going to do is glue this one on here. And it's going to be a fatty, but you know what? I'm going with it. So I could have done a few less pages here, but I'm going to stick with this. So now I'm going to do the same thing I did there, only on this side, and just glue this this first page rather. Ta-da! Now look what we have. Now you could leave it like this if you want, but what I did for a different one was I glued these 2 pages together. For this one, there's a bit of a gap there, so I think I might just actually not do that this time and leave those kind of floating. That's personal choice there. And if you want this to lay flatter, you know, you can put something on it. It springs up, springing up. Let's see what happens when we tuck it in there. Good thing we have a box for that. So to finish this one off, I actually think I'll leave this cover blank for now. We could decorate it, but I might add a word in the future. I'm not sure. But for this box here, I kind of want to add some stability in here. But it is pretty sturdy. And since I don't really have any more of this paper left, I'm going to stick it inside there for now. I might just use some of these scraps if they're big enough. Let's see. And that might be big enough. Let me cut it down. So gluing this down, it just adds a little stability. Also, since these aren't, well, they're partially glued down, it's going to hold these down, keep them from flapping out. Ooh, I like that polka dot side. I'm going to just put a lot of glue here, and then the glue helps to add some stability. Alright, let's see how well that fits in there. And we have a cute little bed for the journal. Actually, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. But I want to do some decorating. That's about right to cover that little spot. And then I'm going to grab my corner rounder, add a little flare to this. Is it flare? Is it just something a little interesting? Ooh, that's cute, right like that. Let's glue that down. And now this is a great spot to add a little word or sentiment also. So this one I think is a good stopping point. Oh wait, I forgot. It's not a good stopping point yet. Let's cover this back side. Do we have a scrap that'll cover that? Not really. Well, no, not quite. Yeah, we can go with the brown. That gives it a little more coverage there. So maybe I'll just put glue straight on. Get that stuck down. Then I'm just going to trim off the excess here. That's cute. Covers up the branding. And then, I wonder. Yeah, I can just use, I wonder if that's, actually I'll just fold this in half, cut it in half. Ooh, that's pretty. Actually, yeah. So we have this tiny scrap here, and I'm going to offset it. I'm not covering anything up here, but I'm adding just a little decorative accent to what I did cover up on the side, so that it kind of looks less like I'm covering something up and more like I'm just adding some decoration. And then same thing on this side. There we go. And I can just slip my little journal in, and actually this can be either way. Actually, no, I see a little tiny house there. Look. Can you see that? There's a little tiny house, so maybe I want to remember that this is right side up this way. But our little journal is nested inside, and I can add some tissue paper or something to gussy it up later, and I'll probably put a little word. Ooh, I just saw this. You know what? Why not? Wait, where'd it go? I saw it and then it disappeared. I have this Tim Holtz Ideology sticker sheet. And actually what I saw just over here was the word sweet, and I thought that looks sweet. It looks like just the right size. I think I do want to add just a little glue because on my other one it was coming off a bit. Scoot over. I want you centered, relatively speaking. And it is sometimes tricky to get a good pressure. You know, you don't want to crush your little box, but that's why I took this out. Alright, look at that. Sweet. I can add words to this in the future. Not sure if I want to. I could have inked the edges, but I think I'm going to leave it as is right now. I could add a picture there, but this one is good for now. Let's decorate the cover of another one. You might recognize this if you follow the Your Creative Studio unboxings. If you want to see that, I'll put an iCard in the corner. This is for my recent one, and it came with lovely an assortment of stickers in the box. So I already have a little journal put together inside here. Lined the box with this paper, little lined paper, and decorated the front. But we need to decorate the top. So I've taken some of the scraps, like this paper here that I've got on there, and some of the stickers, and I'm not even sure where this came from. Life is Sweet. It's probably from an old Spellbinders kit, but it kind of goes with the lemon thing. And let's decorate the top. That was a long pause. So I'm going to start with this scrap of paper. I've covered the branding on the sides already with this lovely piece of paper that came in a paper ephemera pack from Your Creative Studio. And I'm not loving the pizza. There is like a pizza themed sticker in here. I don't know. It's not really giving me the blue and yellow vibes. So I have this sticker that came. There you see its little friend right there. There's two of each sticker, thankfully, because then if you have a favorite, you don't have to worry about using it up. At least not the first time you use it. Anyway, so then we have, I put it on a little crooked, that's okay. That, and then this sticker was also in here. It's exactly the same as this. I was liking the whole lemon thing. Oh, lemons aren't sweet, but I don't know. They seem sweet. So that's the thinking there. So I'm going to stick this one on top because, you know, I hate covering up that pretty part of it, but then conveniently they gave us a sticker. It's not exactly the same color match. I think I'm going to let it just go over the edge here. But it does match really well with the other sticker. And I'm okay with a little bit of stuff sticking out. And then here, this one probably came in this set also. I have it again here. On this one I trimmed off the border because, as you can see, it's not super even. And so you can do that with scissors. I don't think I'm going to fuss about it here. I kind of want to put it right there, but I want to make sure I don't know, I'm not loving the Ticket to Anywhere part, and since I had this Life is Sweet, I thought I'd put it right over there. Let me figure out what I'm doing here. I think I'll put this on there, and then I have this scrap from the cutoff from the journal. Maybe I want to do something like that. So I'm going to stick this one down first since it's a sticker. Oops! You know me. I'm so silly. Okay. I just threw the sticker aside and was going to keep the backer paper. And we're doing a little bit of a collage here. So I think I'm going to put this one down. I need glue for these last two pieces here. So I do want to cover up the words. So I have to put this kind of right here. And then I hate covering up any of that sticker. It's so cute. But you know what? You do what you gotta do. Anyway, that's collage. You can't... Camera! Excuse me, the camera's having trouble. I don't know if it was not focusing. That's collage. You can't get away without covering up something. It's too tiny. My poor camera's like, what is happening? But that is it. That's the test. Tiny. Get some glue on there, and now I can go for some balance by sticking this one a little further this way, and this one sticking out a little further this way. And with this little matchbox, since I don't want to squash it, I just flip it over here and give it a good rub down against my desk. And that is super cute. Yeah. And then it houses the journal. Now let me clean up and have a look at all the little ones I've got here. Okay, so let's pull them all out. Because, you know, we've had a few of these boxes, and I still have a couple more. And here they are in all their glory. These two were very similar sets, similar boxes. You can see the Harlequin pattern. This one we just finished decorating. No, wait, this is not one that we just finished decorating. But this one, I have just covered up this back part. I like this little border part, so I left it. And then I left the sides. It says butterflies and flowers. I thought that looks just fine. And it even says butterflies and flowers here. I just added a scrap, a sticker, a word, and then I'm using most of the packaging. And then inside we have this lovely little journal. I've covered up some of the box there. And it says Artful Flight. And then we have the ruled papers inside. This one we decorated on camera earlier. And we made the journal, which I left mostly blank. It's a little fatty, but this one has all kinds of junk journal insides. Then we just decorated the outside of this one. So you'll be quite familiar with that since we just did it. But here is the journal on the inside, and this has ruled pages. And I did cover the sides there. Let's see if we have enough room for all this. This was one I showed at the beginning. It says Remember and Bless. Again, ruled papers. Oh, don't get too far out of frame there. Here is another one that's the same packaging as this one, just different stickers that were inside, and then that is how I decorated the box. And inside I have this journal. So when I'm cutting down the cover, sometimes I keep this as the same paper that this cover was made out of, and I can use the scraps to decorate. But then I also have some tickets from somewhere or other, not really sure where those came from. This one says Memories. That's just a planner sticker there. Things you do. That was a stamped sentiment that I had in my stash. And then, yep, Museum Piece is part of the original branding on this. Just like the butterflies and flowers one. But I liked those things, so I left it. And, oh yes, this is one that I actually added some tissue to. So, for presentation, you know, as a gift, you could do a scrap fabric, you could do different wrap it in paper, but this is like a little white tissue paper. And then inside the journal says Notes. This one's got 2 signatures of stapled ruled paper. Very cute. And finally, we have this little box that says Little Memories. I think I was thinking Mother here, but I'm not sure. It's very cute and floral. And inside, we have a little journal. Matching coordinating papers. It says Noted. And that is it. So I hope that this inspires you to get crafting with some of that extra packaging in the boxes. Also, as a little bonus idea, here's another empty box that I had. You know what? I haven't done it yet, and it might take me a while, but I was thinking, wouldn't this be cute to make like a little diorama scene, or perhaps like a little pet, like a little rock pet, and this could be its bed, you know, for a young grandchild or niece, nephew, little person in your life. They would love that. So hopefully at some point, if I ever get around to that, I will put out another video just to show another alternative idea for using the packaging. Here is, you know, what I have left from this box. right here. And so, you know, I can fit it in a much smaller space than storing it in the cute little box, but I love reusing them in different unique ways, and I've made quite a few little teeny tiny journals that make wonderful gifts. And thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and creative day.